Congratulations. Sum that one up.
Wow, I think. Incredible. You think that I'm kind of getting my thoughts together to probably speak to you about being very unfortunate to lose the game. What feels like harsh penalty, I think in the way things are going, I can see why it's given. But I think if our season would have been determined on that, it would have seemed extremely harsh. Great character from the players. We spoke at the hotel about never giving up, and there's no bigger example than that tonight, and probably will never be again in their careers, I wouldn't have thought. So delighted with that. We went to extra time, again genuinely getting my penalty takers ready, and then I think speaking with Chris about something to do with that penalties, and the next minute we scored, and then it's like, right, let's get people back and defend, and that last however many minutes seemed a lot longer than they were, I'm sure.
Have you been involved in a game quite like that before?
Oh, my memory's shocking. It's some things. I was just saying there, I didn't really know what was going on in the game. We've just discussed about the goal scorer. Didn't have a clue who scored. Was just delighted that he did. Changed formation a little bit at times as well. So, still trying to stay very present in terms of what's happening in the game and what feel we need to do. And now it's all about recovery.
That's the manager's response, and rightly so, with the game so close now, next up on Saturday. But take us through the game if you would, please. How did you see it all unfold?
I thought we started well. I think with the crowd here and home advantage, it wouldn't have been a surprise if they'd have started brighter, but I thought we started the better. It's a tight game. It's going to be, with where they are in the league, they're a very good team. I've been full of praise. Anyone that's wanted to listen over the season about Notts County. So they were always going to have some little spells, but I thought over the course of the game, my thoughts on the touchline was we shaded it and we're the better team. Whether that's a general consensus, I'm not sure. But I was happy. We just needed to move the ball very slightly quicker, the side to side, but at the same time, that's nitpicking really, because I thought there were some excellent performances. Obviously some tired legs on both sides at the end, but pleased with how we played.
Going back to the penalty which opened the scoring, you felt that was harsh, you say?
I think so, but again, I'm not going to stand here and say he hasn't struck his arm, and then the debate about it's away from his body. It's so hard as a defender. You're trying to trick yourself in front of a ball to stop it going in your goal. I don't think people understand that make the rules, at least, that when you throw your body, it's so hard to keep your arms by your side. And as I said, just at that time, and then right up until that last minute, just thought, what a way to lose a game. And I've had my experiences of losing games like this here before, when it seemed extremely harsh, and I thought it was just going to add another one to the list.
So you thought you were going to lose the game, and right at the end, were you ready for sort of preparing, speaking to us about a defeat? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I know. I don't think anyone. I've said about never giving up, but I'm not on that pitch being able to try and do that. You're just hoping for a good ball in, and that one last chance. It's amazing. We always talk about you'll always get one last chance, and we did. Bundled it in the goal. I couldn't see genuinely much what was happening, and I don't think you guys could by the sound of it. But I think one thing we've all got in common is certainly a good feeling when it did it at the back of the net.
You sent Max up, didn't you? Do you think that put them off a little bit?
I don't know. It looked like it sort of dropped to him and could have probably scored. It's funny because we were chatting before the game. There's a whiteboard in there, and I don't know if they've had a charity game or something with players' names on and about positions that they play. And there was one that was goalkeeper, I think defensive mid, and somewhere else. I'm like, he's a good squad player. And then Max proceeded to tell me that up to under 17, I think he was playing up front. Don't know what standard it was. And he certainly didn't finish like a striker or attempt to, but maybe, like you said, just that bit of confusion.
And what was your feeling when that late winning goal went in?
How long's left? He has to be. To be fair, Sean Pearson's saying, oh, they've thrown Cameron up, or going to throw Cameron up front. And it was like screaming at Jordan Maguire. Drew, he was taking his time, then he was jogging back, and I'm like, slow down, get Manny back in position. And he won one great header a little bit after. So I think they had one ball in the box that dropped. Thankfully the striker lashed it over the bar, and then, you know, like I said, that time went slow. I'm sure it did to all the Grimsby Town fans, but thankfully that final whistle went and we extend the season that little bit further.
Manny getting the winning goal, hat-trick last week. How much of a decision did you have to make with him today to keep him on the bench?
Honestly, in terms of the starting lineup, not much. In terms of him being even on the bench, that was a big decision for me. And maybe in the end, you know, chatting with the staff, and yesterday, I probably wouldn't have even had him on the bench. And that's just me being honest.
Why was that?
Because I thought we might need two midfielders on the bench today. Then I wasn't 100% convinced that Arj was right. And something was nagging at me in terms of, we've gone with two strikers for some time during the season, and that when we perhaps need a goal, I've only got one on the bench. So thankfully that nag, and chatting with Chris and Ben, got the nod to get us where we are now, I suppose.
He's done really well, hasn't he, for you? I mean, not just the goal tonight, but when he came on, he made a difference, didn't he?
He did well. Manny's got, you know, you look at his physique and the size of him and think you should cause people problems. It might sound a little bit kind of harsh or silly. I think sometimes he still doesn't quite know how to use his attributes. He was a ball wide early on after he came on, and he's like past the near post for a cross. Right, so I kind of said to him, you need to get either middle of the goal or far post. As soon as that ball's wide, peel off. Let Tris do the other part of it. And look where he scored his goal. Look where he got his goals at Eastleigh. In between the goalposts. It's not rocket science, but when in the heat of the game, trying to understand and making sure you're in that position isn't obviously as easy. But he held the ball up, he laid it off quite well for us, and delighted for him, because look, he's a really good guy, as they all are, and you know, that's, I'm sure he was disappointed, and you know, if you listen to this, you'd probably be disappointed. But I say, one thing I always tell the players is, I'll be honest. I might not agree with it, but I'll always be honest with him. So he knows now. Will he be involved on Saturday? Let's see.